Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, back on my beloved 888, which is now no longer my beloved 888 because Sky has taken over as number one in the Reggie Time household. Straight into the action here, we isolated Naked Lunch's limp. This is not a board I'm going to see very often, and today is no exception. Against someone who's limp called, that just really hits them quite hard. When they check again on the queen, I'm going to double barrel, and I'm going to hope to try and get him to fold any pair worse than a 9. I'm not trying to make him fold a 9 here. And now we're going to hope he's actually got something. The plan was there to double barrel and try and get him 8s and worse. So because I think his range is still quite weak, I'm not going to bet too big. If he turns up here with 2 pair or something, well, yeah, we could have bet slightly more maybe, but by the same token, as I was going to just try and bluff the river because I think his range is weak, when I go to value bet the river, how am I going to word this? I want to make sure I word it correctly. Yeah, if I was going to bluff the river, it's because I think his range is weak. So therefore, if I think his range is weak, and then I turn to value bet the river because I river the nuts, it doesn't change his range. It doesn't mean his range all of a sudden gets stronger so I can bet bigger. I still think his range is weak, so I still need to be making a small bet to make sure right. But now, instead of making a bet to try and make him fold hands like pocket 8s, 9x, etc., I'm going to make a bet to try and induce a call from those hands, which is the point I was trying to make there. Hopefully I've made it well enough. Right, we've been min squeezed. We clearly can't fold Jack Queen suited to a min squeeze. It's disappointing that the guy who's done the squeezing has no money, and now we've flopped pretty well, so I mean, I just hope he doesn't bomb here. If he bombs here, I think I still have to fold. I don't have enough equity. And he doesn't, he checks, which is pleasant. Still only going to check though, because I think he's going to be check shoving a bunch. What I'll try and make sure, if possible, I can take my free card. And now we probably aren't going to fold. I'm not going to shove though. I don't think we have any fold equity, so I may as well just try and save $3.97 at the times that we miss. If I thought shoving had any kind of fold equity whatsoever, I would do it, but it just doesn't, so there's just no point in doing it. If I miss here, I may as well just save the 13 blinds. But we don't miss, so good for us. And I've absolutely no idea what's just gone on there with that gentleman, but I'm very grateful that he let us get there and then just did all our bidding for us. I'm not going to try and explain his logic there and how he's played his hand because there's no point. It's just a waste of energy to try and explain it. The guy, no offence to him, but he's clearly just a bad player, doing the kind of whole bad player thing, and yeah, whatever. We saw it worked out. I think my play was completely standard. People will make the mistake there. Some players will make the mistake when they turn the flush draw 2 and you say, sod it, I'm all in. But when you carried no fold, I mean, we could have actually carried a tiny bit of fold equity there because he only had jacks. But if you don't expect to get any folds, what's the point in shoving all your money in? You may as well just call, safe in the knowledge that you're probably not going to miss any value if you hit the river, and then just always save. That was a mistake there with the ace-8. I should have 3-bar called, and always just save the 13 blinds when we miss. The only point in shoving there is if you think you can make somebody fold. I didn't think I had any chance of making it fold, so therefore there was no real reason to make the raise. Just take your pots and move on. Ten-9 offsuit, pretty weak hand, and we had a rock opening the button. But still, we're getting like 4 and a bit to 1, so I'm going to call. We flop a straight draw. I might donk this actually. It's not the sort of board I expect people to see bet very often as a bluff, so I think we can get people to fold some better hands here for sure. And when it's not the end of the world, if we get raised, as long as you don't make a huge raise, I think we can certainly stick around. Go for some fat value here. Keep going with some fat value, and we're going to shove the river. If we get raised here, it's going to be pretty gross, but I'm not going to fold. I'm not going to continue betting here. I don't think we're going to get him to fold a jack anytime soon. So we're just going to try and realise our equity. We don't do it. That's a really bad river card. Now I'm going to check, and I'm just going to hope Craig checks back. If he jams here, I'm just going to fold. Wow. So we're getting 4-1 on the call. We can't fold here. I think we're beat nearly all the time. Well, not nearly all the time, but a lot of the time. I kind of hate this situation. But yeah, he managed to find someone who was just going for some thin value. Now, when Ludeman doesn't bet this river, I'm going to now bet just to try and get him off some worse draws. So I'm not trying to make you fold a jack here. Not trying to make you fold any kind of pair. Try to make you fold king high, queen high. Sorry, king high and ace high. I probably could have bet slightly less than that, but never mind. It worked out anyway. Yeah, so that ace hand was interesting. Maybe I could have got a shove called. Maybe I could have got a shove called there. But I mean, just thought the river was horrendous. His flush draws are going to be a big part of his range for playing exactly that way. Jack X is going to be in his range, but yeah, maybe I could have shoved there, but I could just be playing results. Instinctively, it felt like I was beat somehow, or it was certainly a bad card for me getting much more value. I was glad he only bet 6 instead of jamming, because had he jammed, he may well have won a fold from me. With him betting 6, he kind of just kind of pushed me into wanting to call. So thank you for that. While we have a quiet moment, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite anyone who's a regular subscriber to contact me if you'd like to try and maybe think about taking a coaching session with me. At the moment, I currently have around 17 players in my study group, with players I'm working with generally on a fortnightly basis. So whilst I'm reasonably busy, I've always got room for more work. I love being busy. So if you've watched a lot of my videos and you've kind of thought to yourself, I wouldn't mind getting a session, but you're a bit shy or you're not sure or you're not sure of the value, please just add me to Skype on reg11174 and talk to me about the potential, about potentially taking a session with me. And you could be like Facebook Pro 2 here, who is actually one of my students. It's Julius, he's Swedish, he plays on Svenska Spell. No idea why he wants to play an 888 when he's got that option, but who knows. So I'm going to check call against him here. I think I'm probably behind when he calls me on that dry flop, but we turn quite a bit of equity, so if I hit my flush, he's never going to see it coming. If I hit my 4, he's unlikely to see that coming too. Clearly a 5's no good to me anymore. Wow, he's made a big bet though. Let's tackle these one at a time. I'm not going to double barrel my ace 10 because I don't think the 8 gives us any fold equity. I probably will check call though. So here we're getting 360 and 2. We're getting like 2 and a bit to 1 on our money. We could be drawing dead, although it seems unlikely. Just going to fold. Just because I think Julius plays too well there. He's not always going to give me value on the river for hit. So I'm going to make a tight fold. Here I'm going to call because we have 12 outs to the nuts. Unfortunately we don't hit any of them, so now we're just going to check and fold. And wow. That seems pretty bad to me. Just go back and see what's happened there, because I think that A needs to be noted. B, I think it's definitely worth talking about. And I need to bear in mind here that just because these players are unknowns to me, it doesn't mean I'm unknown to them because I make YouTube videos. He might not know me at all. He might not know me from Adam. He might not give a shit who I am, but he might also know me. So we'll bear that in mind. So what's happened here? Can I make that smaller? No, I can't. That's unfortunate. So he's peeled me in position with threes. Absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. I think that's fine. His float though is close to atrocious. Even if he has the best hand here, I mean, good for him. He has the best hand. Being bluffed off a pair of threes here is not the end of the world. If he's calling threes here, he's calling way too many C bets. So first of all, I think his call is close to atrocious. And then his turn bet. I mean, he's clearly betting there just to win the pot. He can't truly be betting for value. Fair enough, he's got the thinnest of value. I understand that. He's probably sat there now thinking how well he's played the hand, if he's not really thinking that critically about poker. But his turn bet, what is his turn meant to achieve? He's not going to protect that well against my strongest draws, because I'm not folding anyway. So then it's kind of, his value betting against my draws, or is he going to try and make me fold something? Maybe he's trying to make me fold a hand like pocket sevens here, or pocket nines, or pocket tens. But that's assuming I c-bet those hands on this board. So yeah, really don't like his line. I was very surprised to see 2 threes there. I'd prefer to see him actually just bet the river too, and just like turn his threes into a full-on bluff to try and get me to fold a hand like Jack X or something. Yeah, I think his line's quite poor, so we're going to float 3-3 in position, King Jack X, 2-tone, probe, turn versus check, back, river. So now when I see him probing turns now, I mean, it just gives me license to just dick around with him. Because if he's floating flop satellite and then he's going on and probing turns, that's not something he's just doing randomly. That's probably something he's got a strategy of doing. That's probably part of his poker strategy. And if it is part of his strategy, he's just going to get himself slaughtered against anyone that's paying any attention to him. Which is what I mean. I don't mind if someone wants to float light and then try and pick pots up on turns, but don't let people see the hand you're doing it with. Fire the river too, in my opinion. Call here against Big Mike to hope he's as bad as I think he might be. Unfortunately, we flop absolutely nothing, so we're just going to check, and now we turn a flush draw. He min bets, we call, and then we just give up the river. 10 Jack suited, and yeah, Big Mike probably is quite bad. I'm going to play the 10 Jack suited here. It's a big raise, but we get to play with an undergun limper, which is always nice. It's a very playable hand. It flops really well, and in spots like this, it's a really easy check fold. When this fellow here checks his flop, he just doesn't have an ace very often. My problem is, one of these guys can. Maybe not Ent so much. Ent maybe doesn't have an ace. If anyone got an ace, I expect now it to be John. But again, we're just going to check. We're not going to try and we're not going to try and pick this pot up heavily multi-way like this. I have no idea what's going on here when he checks back that flop and just decides to absolutely bomb that turn. Because now this is kind of conflicting with this is totally conflicting with my flop read of that neither of these guys had very much. So we're going to watch this hand out. We're going to sit out of next hands, and we're going to watch this hand out because I'm really quite interested. Actually, all 3 guys called. Let's just see what's going on here. So now I'm presuming that he maybe just has a set or something. That he's just played. Wow. What a pot. Yeah, so we turned a set of sevens. Absolutely no idea what this gentleman was doing in this pot. So his play makes a lot of sense. His play makes no sense. His play makes some sense. Yeah, wow. 9-5. Not sure what to say about that, folks. I'm not sure what to say apart from what's the saying that used to be on BBC on 2+2, something about poker's dead, everyone's so. Oh, I can't remember what it was now. But anyways, it's a sarcastic saying that people use when they see people play badly. I wanted to use that then, but I have completely butchered it. Was it something like no money, heads up, everyone's solid? Was that what it was? He was that. We were heads up. Yeah, screwed it up. Whatever. Who cares? Well, that was a fun hand to watch. It's Jay. He has the green tag, which usually indicates loose passive, but he's been getting him away quite a lot this session. Super easy fold there. So maybe I may need to go, if I'm going to play these snap games often, which I don't intend to, because 888 is now definitely just my secondary site. Well, definitely for the moment. Sky is my current main site. That's the site I'm going to load up first every day. And look for my action there. And 888 is going to be my secondary site for when I can't get much action on Sky. So if I was going to play these games more, I would be looking into Jay and just making sure that my read's right on him. But because I don't intend to play them too much at the moment, it's not something I'm going to do right now. But I'm going to go with the read. He's a fish up to now still, and we're going to know he's going to fold most of the time because he's a rock. So we're going to look to play a pot in position against somebody who's been opened and doesn't have much of a stack. Oh, sorry, doesn't have a full 100 blind stack, which is usually an indication that they're not the best player. And he's checked, so now we're just going to start by betting. We have a good shot, 2 overcards. 2 overcards may or may not be much use to us. We get min raised, which means he probably just has a hand that he really, really likes. But we have a chance of turning the nuts against someone we're almost certainly going to get full value from. Mind you, maybe we're not, because if a 7 comes, there's going to be a 4 straight on the board, which might discourage him. But still, I think we have just a little bit too much equity to fold just now, and we're not going to go for it again. We know, especially now we picked up showdown value. I'm going to bet again here. Again, the Queen's going to be a scare card to somebody who isn't too good at poker. He may have just checked call the flop with like a weakish pair, see the Queen. I mean, he might fold to my turn barrel. He doesn't. He goes for a raise. Wow, I'm getting raised a lot in these games. This is a really easy fold on this table. And here, it's just a call based on pot odds. Unfortunately, we brick, so we're gonna have to fold the river, which is somewhat unfortunate. But this is kind of what happens when we're in games with bad players. Weird things happen, and it's important that you don't get Excuse me. It's important that you don't allow yourself to get frustrated by them. People just do weird things you don't expect. I mean, like check min raising as a pre-flop raiser on that kind of board, for example, is something you wouldn't necessarily expect. Someone to like a fish to check call a monotone board and then just like check raise the turn. It's not something you typically expect. You expect people to just either check call or check fold. So when the unusual happens to you, it's important that you don't get frustrated and allow yourself to make lots of mistakes. Here we're just going to fold because he probably just has a 5. It's important that you don't make mistakes out of frustration. Yeah, we've had a bad time the last few minutes. We've kind of probably given around 50 blinds back. But that just happens. That's just part of poker. Not going to check call my gut shot here. If you had a full stack, I would consider it. But we're just going to check fold, not care too much about it. The guys from my study group have been posting some insane hands from 888 lately. We just people getting it in with just the weirdest of shit. So I know right now, particularly these 13L games, I know they're good. Are they as good as Sky? Probably not even close. But will they be the best speed poker games currently playing at this kind of limit? 100% yes. You compare 13L to 25L on stars, and it's like comparing chalk and cheese. It really is. I actually started out making a stars 25L Zoom session tonight, and after 10 minutes I was just absolutely bored out of my brain and just cancelled it and decided to make an 888 one instead. For you guys that play on stars quite a lot, you must have one mighty boring life. Oh, mighty boring poker life, and not only a boring life. I mean, you probably have very exciting and interesting lives, but yeah, in terms of your poker, if you're playing Zoom and you're enjoying it, wow, you've got some kind of sadistic streak to you, I would imagine. So you've been squeezed here by Prince Kassad. He's definitely one of the more aggressive regulars in this game, and it's pretty tempting to just like ship it in his face here. I just don't think he can call very often. We kind of block ace king, we block aces. Sorry, now I just noticed how deep we are, so I'm not going to ship it in his face, but I am going to call because we're deep. I was thinking we were 100 blinds deep, and I just noticed my stack size at the last minute. Just as I was about to fold, I noticed my stack size and realised that we can't really fold. Unfortunately, we completely brick. So we're just going to be forced to just fold now. Which is somewhat unfortunate. Kind of want to see what happens here. And he was just c-bet bluffing that board, which is kind of goes with what my read on Prince Kassad, which is he is a kind of like bad aggressive regular. C-betting that board there with air is, in my opinion, it's a mistake. Big Mike looks like he's now on the downswing. We're not going to fold the ace-8 suited to someone who we think's bad, who makes a small c-bet against us. Fortunately, we just keep continually bricking. Every time someone shows aggression and we kind of force to stay in the pot, we're just not making anything. So I am starting to feel somewhat frustrated. And I'm not going to let it affect my play. I'm just going to continue to play my game, try and play well. And I've lost concentration in this pot. I've completely butchered this pot now because I've lost concentration. I should have absolutely c-bet that flop with my 5 high. And now we're just going to try and pick it up on the river and just hope he doesn't have a spade. If he's got like a 7 of spades here, do not expect him to fold it. Yeah, so I can kind of feel my own frustration levels rising just slightly now because we've got in lots of pots with bad players in the last 15 minutes and we haven't been able to capitalise on any of those spots. And that is frustrating. It's really frustrating. I get frustrated by it as much as the next man, but we can't allow it to affect our play. We really can't. We just have to get on with it and bite the bullet because this is just part of how poker is. We kind of overestimate our edge a lot of the time and then get frustrated when things don't go our way, when we think we should be doing better than we are. And if that then, you allow that to manifest itself into just a big pile of spew and start to play badly, well then you're just making a bad situation worse. Here's Big Mike again here. Kind of, half me wants to squeeze my ace-8 suited, the other half wants to call. I think we're going to go for the squeeze because I want to try and get heads up if I possibly can. I'm also going to squeeze the ace-queen here too. And here we're just going to go for a c-bet. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah, and we're just getting raced all over the place. Not a big deal. I won't be folding this one to a race though. I think we've just flopped too well in a squeeze spot. If he's got 2 5s or 2 8s, well, that's just going to be bad luck for us. But how many times have we been check raised this session? I mean, we almost, not say almost never get check raised, but there seems to be enough bad players in these games right now, taking strange lines that makes me think that I want to play for a good few hours. I think it could be one of those nights where we just make a lot of money. When he donks here, he's just always got a value hand that he's shitting his pants with, so we're just going to fold. I'm not fond of set mining unless I think there's some really bad players behind. We have a bad aggressive regular, don't know. So no, I'm not going to set mine there. And yeah, we're going to call it a video soon. It's not been the best of sessions. I think we're one of the few times I made a video and not made a profit. I don't think I made a profit anyway. I haven't checked. I don't check these things. It doesn't really matter very much, but kind of when you're producing poker videos, you want to show yourself at your best, but by the same token, you want to show the reality of poker, and the reality of poker is that, we don't always win, and this is one of those times where I haven't won unless the kings come up, but hopefully you've seen how I respond to these situations, and hopefully you can take something from that, and hopefully right at the death we can just win a big pot with 2 kings, but we don't. Unfortunately, that's the time we don't get checkmate raised. But yeah, not such a big problem. We're going to probably call it a day for the video. Now we're going to just randomly fold the big blind there. Not quite sure what happened there. Looked like a glitch to me. But yeah, we're going to call it a video because I'm trying to make much shorter videos these days and produce them more often. So I hope you've enjoyed it, even though there wasn't any really big hands we were involved in, and most of the time we were just betting and getting raised and having to fold. But I hope you've got something from that, because bet folding is definitely something, or folding to raises is definitely something that a lot of players that come to me have an issue with. So hopefully, even though it's not been the greatest of sessions in terms of how well we've done, hopefully it's been a good hopefully it's been a good video in terms of showing people how I operate when things aren't going my way. So for now, we're going to call it a day, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.